There was a time when your voice was loud and clear. You said what you needed. You asked questions. You laughed loudly. You cried without apology. You were unfiltered, unpolished, unafraid. Until one day, someone told you it was too much. Too loud. Too bold. Too emotional. Too honest. Too real. So you started shrinking. You lowered your voice in meetings. You kept quiet in rooms full of noise. You bit your tongue in relationships that bruised your spirit. You apologized for having opinions. You whispered your needs, if you even shared them at all. You became quiet. But not because you didn't have anything to say. You became quiet because you thought that was the only way to stay safe. You thought silence was the cost of being accepted. You thought holding back was the price of peace. But inside, the words kept piling up. The truth kept pressing against your chest. The anger kept choking your joy. And you began to wonder, what happened to me? Where did I go? Why does it feel like I'm disappearing inside my own life? And the answer is this. You didn't lose your voice. You buried it. You muted it for the sake of others. But it never stopped speaking to you. You hear it when you journal. You hear it when you cry in the shower. You hear it in that lump in your throat every time you say, I'm fine when you're not. You hear it in the dreams you've silenced for years. You hear it in the way your body tightens when you don't speak your truth. But the silence is no longer safe. The silence is no longer sacred. The silence is now suffocating. And here's what I need you to know. Your voice was never meant to be silent. Your voice was meant to be heard. Not just by others, but by you. You need to hear your truth again. You need to hear yourself say, that hurt me. You need to hear yourself say, that's what I want. You need to hear yourself say, I deserve better. Because when you reclaim your voice, you reclaim your power. Your voice is your compass. It tells you what matters. It leads you home to yourself. But you can't follow a compass you've silenced. You can't live fully while holding back the most honest parts of you. It's time to open your mouth again. Even if your voice trembles. Even if the words come out messy. Even if not everyone understands. This isn't about them. This is about you giving yourself permission to speak again. To speak without fear. To speak without shrinking. To speak from the deepest truth inside you, and to know that it's enough. Because your voice is not too much. Your voice is not too loud. Your voice is not unworthy. It is beautiful. It is bold. It is necessary. And the world may not always applaud it, but you don't need applause. You need alignment. And your voice will lead you there. It starts small. You speak one truth. You set one boundary. You tell one story that's been sitting on your heart. And even if your hands tremble, you feel something new rise inside of you. Strength, freedom, clarity. And little by little, you begin to remember. You were never meant to be invisible. You were never meant to be agreeable at the cost of your own truth. You were never meant to water yourself down to be digestible for others. You were meant to stand tall in your knowing. You were meant to use your voice to heal, to teach, to awaken, to love. Not just for others, but for yourself. Because every time you silence your truth, you lose a piece of your soul. And every time you speak it, you gather that piece back. You return to wholeness. You realign with purpose. You reconnect with the woman you were before the world told you who to be. And the woman you are now, she's powerful. She's wise. She's been through fire and came out refined. And it's time she spoke. Not to prove anything. Not to compete. But to release. To testify. To bless others with what she survived. Because there is someone out there who needs to hear your story. There is someone waiting to know they are not alone. There is someone who needs your words to break their silence. And maybe that someone is you. Maybe you've needed to hear your own voice again, strong, unfiltered, brave. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect words. You just need honesty. You just need courage. You just need to open your mouth and trust that your voice is worthy of air. You can speak kindly and still speak powerfully. You can speak truthfully and still speak in love. You can say, that didn't work for me. You can say, I want something different now. You can say, I'm not who I used to be and I'm not going back. You can speak and take up space. You can speak and walk away. You can speak and still be soft. Your voice is not only welcome, it is essential. Your wisdom is not optional, it is divine. You have carried too many generations of silence to stay silent now. You have broken too many patterns to go back to pleasing. This is your liberation season. This is your speaking season. This is your season to raise your hand, raise your voice, and raise your life. And if the words come slow, let them. If the voice cracks, let it. If the message shifts halfway through, trust it. You are evolving, and so is your voice. Let it grow with you. Let it become what it needs to be. You are not too late to be heard. You are not too old to make noise. You are not too anything to speak life. And today, right now, you speak. You speak softly. You speak loudly. You speak honestly. You speak without apology. You speak because silence is no longer an option. You speak because your future depends on it. You speak because your healing depends on it. You speak because your life depends on it. So, let this be the moment. Let this be the day. Let this be your sacred declaration. Say it with me. My voice matters. My truth is holy. My silence was survival, but my speaking is power. Now breathe. Speak again. And don't stop. Because your voice was never meant to be silent. It was meant to shift the atmosphere, starting with you.